Hello, this is PG, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Miasma Chronicles. The game is available on PC and all major consoles. Miasma Chronicles is a turn-based role-playing adventure game developed by the Bearded Ladies. The game is set after an apocalyptic event in the United States as you and your companions undertake your quest. Okay, gameplay. Well, the game is a hybrid of sorts, splitting the gameplay between real-time exploration and turn-based combat scenarios. In terms of combat, your group have action points. These action points can be used to move, attack, reload, use items, or utilise other options. And I'd say the combat is definitely the standout part of the game, with tactical battles where your choices actually matter. If you die, it's usually because you made a tactical faux pas, but as you learn more strategies, you'll find yourself making quick progress through the relatively straightforward adventure. But you don't have to go in guns blazing. You can split your group and use stealth to silently pick off enemies, or position your group ready for a deadly ambush. I would say there are some issues though. The Overwatch, for example, seemed very erratic and it often didn't seem to work at all. Also, the amount of random misses were just infuriating, with little or no justification for why your character missed someone who's standing right in front of them. So combat on the whole, I would say, is good despite a few issues, and as you complete more skirmishes, that experience will allow you to level up. You can then use that experience to add to the skill tree, you can add perks to the loadout, new weapons can be purchased, or you can find them within the game, but I would say the weapons and the loot in general was quite underwhelming. Now Elvis, the lead character, has a special glove that is used to channel Miasma, the destructive force, or is it miasma? I don't know, I'm sure pedants will correct me. Anyway, the destructive force the game world has to offer. Now this lets you use unique powers, and you can definitely be a game changer when you're in these really tight battles. But what about the real-time exploration and the game world? Well, it's nice to be able to freely explore when you're not in combat. But the game world, I have to say, I found it to be quite dull, quite unimaginative, and lacking in strong character or depth, which are also things that you could level at the narrative, but more on that in a moment. Now as you explore the small areas, you'll find loot, plastic, which is the game's currency, and then you can take all this stuff back to town, do a bit of trading with the locals. The regions, they're blocked by gates that require conditions to be met, but you will quickly, I would say, grow tired of this gameplay loop. Enter combat, walk through a dull area, listen to an uninspired dialogue segment, have some more combat, walk a bit more, level up, bland cutscene, yada yada yada, repeat until the end. It is really tedious stuff, and the game is distinctly lacking in the fun department, and I'd say it's not an interesting experience on any level aside from occasional turn-based combat moments. Okay, finally let's talk about the story. Miasma Chronicles has got to be one of the most predictable stories I think I've ever seen in any form of entertainment. Everything is signposted to such a degree that every story twist felt completely underwhelming and incredibly predictable and cliched. On the whole, the characters were quite, unimaginative, paper thin, like cardboard cutouts from a book of generic character lists for video games, and also quite unlikable as well. In terms of graphics, it does the job. The details are nice, the environments look solid although they're quite dull. Yeah, insipid, lacking any memorable structural design even in some of the latter segments. In terms of sound, the effects, the music, I'd say very good, but sadly the voice acting does not reach those heights. It isn't helped by the lackluster and crass writing, but the characters felt, again, paper thin. Ultimately, it just leaves you feeling no sense of care towards the characters, just apathy towards the journey itself. And the writing, it honestly did feel like they hired the writers from Cyberpunk, but instead asked them, could they write something even worse than that? It's really truly awful stuff at times. Okay, verdict. Miasma Chronicles is a turn-based RPG that fails to live up to the quality, depth and experience of the previous work by the Bearded Ladies. Yes, the combat may be enjoyable, tactical and satisfying, but the tedious game world, the unimaginative storyline and the abysmal writing all result in Miasma Chronicles being another turn-based role-playing game that will be quickly forgotten. So all in all, not a great game. Is it worth buying just for the turn-based combat? Perhaps, you know, if you are a die-hard turn-based gamer, but on the whole, it's very, very disappointing. So my score for Miasma Chronicles, or Miasma Chronicles, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 just for the turn-based combat, but everything else is pretty poor stuff. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. This is PG, signing off. Cheers.